Thanks for staying with us. Well, tonight, Chinese ambassador to Ghana, Zhao Defa, has sparked controversy by stating that illegal mining or galamsey cannot be completely eradicated. And instead, Ghana should focus on reducing the environmental impact. There's more in the following report.
I do not know what's the reason why when people say galamsey, they normally equals that with Chinese. But actually, it is not Chinese.
Speaking at a media engagement in Accra, Ambassador Defa emphasized that the conversation around illegal mining needs to shift from blame to solutions, arguing that galamsey is deeply embedded in Ghana's economic survival and that total eradication is unrealistic.
I think in this country, to my understanding, you can never eliminate those small minings. If you use small minings, there will always have illegalities involved in it.
He pushed back against claims that Chinese nationals are primarily responsible for illegal mining, describing such narratives as unfair and misleading. According to him, most Chinese involved in illegal mining are laborers drawn in by Ghanaians rather than the masterminds.
Galamsey is not an issue of China. Galamsey doesn't caused by Chinese. You guys know what's the problem. You guys know several million people live in those small minings. How many Chinese over here involved in these galamseys? You can't. Because Chinese government takes strong, strict measures. Like I already tell you that we do not issue them visa. Those people who want to come over here, they cannot easily get the passport. And you can see why the vice mayor of Nandom I mentioned, I didn't come to the details. They approached your Minister of Foreign Affairs to talk about the issues because some tiny people who were caught sometimes by police or by immigration office come from that city alone. So we Chinese government taking a lot of efforts on dealing with the issues.
Governance expert Professor Bafuaji Manduya agrees that the real problem lies in internal systems that enable collusion rather than foreigners. He calls for urgent introspection in the fight against illegal mining.
There must be some kind of official collusion with whoever is the contractor to bring in these people. So in that respect, he is right. The problem is us, not the Chinese. That I think we must take seriously. So those interested in combating these heinous atrocities against our environment must begin to focus on how we get these people into the country in the first place.
Civil society groups, including the Coalition Against Illegal Mining, are mounting pressure for an end to environmental destruction and demanding prosecution of politically connected actors, including foreign collaborators.
Investigations of all mentioned in the Professor Frimpong Boateng report. There are a lot of politically exposed persons that have been mentioned in that report, and that should be looked into. And finally, transparent prosecution with no political protection. We've heard the president say that he will not cover anybody. We've heard the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources say that there would be no, what do they normally call it, order from above, so far as this is concerned. We need to see that translated into action.
Despite challenges including a recent attack on her team during an enforcement operation, Administrator of the Minerals Commission Dr. Hannah Bissell remains committed to cracking down on illegal mining activities, including those involving foreigners.
In fact, I've not left the raid mode. It's still there, only that you don't know when I'm moving.
When next you're moving?
No, that will never come out, not even with the staff. I have just about 2-3 people that will work. And it will never, nothing that you do me.
Well, Coordinator for Eco-Conscious Citizens, Awula Sewa, joins us live on this particular story. Let me find out from you, is the ambassador right to suggest to us not to, tackle this, but to adapt to it?
I think that what we need to do as Ghanaians is to take for what is happening in our country. The Chinese ambassador does not issue visas for Chinese citizens to come to Ghana. We issue the visas. We're supposed to look at what they are coming to do, who is inviting them. We are responsible for enforcing laws and regulations in Ghana, not in other foreign countries. So we need to take responsibility. It is that for a very long time, we've had what we call galamsey, come and gather. This was using hand tools and was not causing the devastation and the poisoning of our water bodies. The game has changed. Now we're using chanfans on our water bodies. We're using excavators, which are devastating our forest reserves. So it's up to the Ghanaian authorities to take action. Believe me, we will win this war on illegal mining when the political will is there. The ICP is doing a good job. The Minister for Land and Natural Resources, you can see, is trying to do a good job. But there are too many politically exposed persons, too many powerful persons involved in illegal mining. I would call it illegal mining, clear criminal activity. And we need to clamp down on it. It's too easy to point fingers. It's the Chinese, it's foreign nationals. When the Chinese are involved, the Ghanaians have invited them and they are complicit. So let's be straightforward about what is going on so that we can get to the roots of the matter.
Is that to suggest that the Chinese government or the Chinese citizens in this country are not contributing to this galamsey menace at all when we are seeing them deep in the forest and providing these chanfan machines?
You see, we are saying that they are contributing, and that is why we have said, first of all, that they shouldn't just be exported. When they are arrested, as the law spells out, to be prosecuted, serve their sentence, any assets they have to be sold and used towards restoring the lands they are devastated before they are deported. So, of course, they are complicit. Of course, they are involved.
Right.
All we are saying is that you have to blame yourself. You let them into the country. Let's go and find out who gave them the visas and who invited them and deal with those people. So if you've invited a Chinese national to come, what did you invite him to come and do? How come he finds his way into our forest reserves and starts devastating our forests and poisoning our water bodies? We have to take responsibility. Believe me, no Ghanaians can go to China and begin to destroy their environment. And the Chinese government will fold their arms saying, it's the Ghanaians, it's the Ghanaians. You wouldn't even dream of it. You'll be stopped in your tracks. So we have to look at the enforcement of our laws and regulations and how come the Chinese are being allowed into our country. Why are we not allowing Champans to come into the country? Why have we paused the importation of excavators when we know that 90% of the excavators are finding their way to the forest reserve? We need to wake up to take the kind of action that will bring a stop to this destructive activity going on, this environmental terrorism that is going on. We cannot keep on with the blame game.
Right. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, still on galamsey, the Inspector General of Police has ordered a raid on illegal miners operating in the Asinayo Forest Reserve. Now, this same area is the area where multimedia journalists were assaulted last year while filming environmental devastation. The forest earmarked for reclamation has faced relentless destruction since 2023, with rivers polluted and trees uprooted. My colleague Erastus Asari Donko joins me live on the ground with more on this. Erastus, you've been following this all morning since the raid commenced. So far, how many individuals have been apprehended?
So far, we are talking about 16 suspects arrested so far at Sumenya, that is the Asinayo Forest Reserve, and some parts of the Apamprama Forest Reserve as well, where the operation has touched so far. And out of the 16, one of them is a Chinese national identified so far as Cheke Chen, 35. And so far, that is what has gone on today within the Asinayo Forest Reserve and the Apamprama Forest Reserve. So the team, as we speak, the IGP's Anti-Galamsey Task Force is still on the ground conducting raids within these areas.
After the raids are done, what are they doing to ensure they protect the area?
So if I should use the Samraboy Enclave as an example, currently we have more than 100 excavators parked within the Akunta mining setup area where they have parked them, over 100 excavators as we speak.
and they have put it in charge of the police command in that particular area. I'm told that they are organizing themselves to bring all these excavators to a pool in Accra and mark them ready as exhibits for prosecution.
Thank you, Erastus Saridonka. Join us live from the Ashanti region with details of that raid.
Well, still on illegal mining, the Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, has revealed government has begun investigations into Awin MP Oscar Labi for his alleged involvement in illegal mining. He spoke on Newsnight with my colleague Kenneth Jesse.
All the concerns that have been raised are concerns that are being dealt with the petition against the sitting member of parliament, in which, if you listen to the press conference, the president or the presidency acknowledged receipt of the petition and the necessary investigation are being done on the matter. This government is not willing, under any circumstance, to shield anybody who is engaged in this. And today, the LI 2462 is now a law.
Minister, so no total repeal?
Well, I think that the major issue that was raised, even so you know, if we bring a new law today, it's most likely in the next 1 month, 2 months, people may have concerns about it. Those issues they have concerns about it are issues that were, the major concern they had at the time was the authorization or the privilege the presidency had, you know, to authorize people to go and mine in forest reserve areas, which we have taken away. I realize that there are some aspects of the existing law, you know, excluding what has been repealed, that they still have problems with. And I can assure him and assure everybody that these are things government is considering seriously.
Let's head now to Parliament. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakufibwa, has today been briefing Parliament on Ghana's fight against illegal mining.
Illegal mining is a persistent challenge which has polluted our water bodies, degraded our arable lands, and decimated our forest reserves. Mr. Speaker, in the recent incident in the Swaman constituency, 2 people inadvertently fell in a galamsey pit and lost their lives. These recent happenings have sparked public outrage, and immediate measures are being put in place to curb this menace. Mr. Speaker, the immediate measures include reclamation and revegetation program. The government is engaging in the reclamation of illegally mined out areas in the constituency and other affected areas to avoid such occurrences. Community engagement and education. The ministry has intensified community engagement and awareness creation on the effects of illegal mining. We have engaged the district assemblies and traditional authorities to come together and help in this fight. Law enforcement. Punishment for perpetrators of this heinous crime will be strictly enforced as is being done, and to ensure deterrence to other miners who engage in this activity. We are also strengthening licensing and regulation. Mr. Speaker, we are also focusing on geologically investigated areas with very good prospects to ensure that miners will get mine out areas that are very lucrative for them to mine, so that we can prevent this random digging and this risk we face. I thank you.
Well, on a rather sad note, a 19-year-old has died in a fatal crash on the Cape Coast Takoradi-Accra Highway. The accident involved a tipper truck, 2 cars and a tricycle near the University of Cape Coast. 4 others are injured and the truck driver is in police custody. Deputy PRO at the Central Region Police Command, Chief Inspector Isaac Evans-Eti, has been given details.
On the 19th of June 2025, about 12:48 in the afternoon, suspect driver, Bright Issel, age 29, was driving a tipper truck with registration number GN5710-19, loaded with sand from Boyinbima towards Cape Coast. On reaching UCC Westgate on the main Cape Coast Takoradi Highway, he veered off his lane and ran over the curb, and in the process crashed into a stationary Nissan Sentra saloon car driven by a suspect, Kofi Kum, aged 57, a Hyundai CRV 4x4 car driven by a suspect, Anita Ansa, aged 37, and also ran over a Sonic motor tricycle ridden by suspect George Ayensu Peters, age 26, who were observing traffic from the near side section of the road to join the highway. As a result of the crash, all the vehicles mentioned above, together with the tricycle, were damaged, and the victims, Charles Ayensu Peters, age 47, Prince Bedu, age 27, and a 19-year-old Wilfred Ewusi Nancy, sustained various degrees of injuries and were rushed to the UCC hospital for treatment.
Rather sad one there, but let's take you to the central region to speak to our correspondent Abigail Isel, who is joining us live on Zoom. First of all, what have been the reaction, from residents regarding this fatal crash?
Well, residents are currently very scared, especially with the nature of the driving on the road. And because it seldom has traffic, the cars really move very fast because there are no breaks in between. So usually crossing the road to the other side is very, very dangerous and very unsafe. And the drivers usually complain with how fast these cars go because there are no traffic and then no road ramps on the road. So no brakes for the cars, they just take off like that. But currently there is an ongoing construction of an overpass on that particular stretch of road a few meters away from the accident scene, and residents in the area are hoping that this new construction can help pedestrians, especially when they're crossing the road, keep them safe and all that. And because it's very close to the university and at that particular side of the accident scene or where the accident happened, there are 3 halls of residents. So usually you find students, a lot of them using that particular stretch of road. And so it's very unsafe, especially for the school. And that is also the area where the UCC hospital is. So you have residents who patronize the hospital also crossing the road a lot. So it's very, very dangerous. And because it's very, where the scene of the accident, very close to the scene, there's a diversion. So usually when the cars get to that area, they break away, and some of them use the diversion, and others proceed to the Accra, Cape Coast Accra Highway.
Okay.
So
all right. Thank you so much for that update.
Well, let's head now to the Western region because it has become the epicenter of Ghana's Mpox outbreak, recording the highest number of cases across the country. Health authorities are worried as the region also sees a spike in maternal deaths within just 5 months. Officials say the delay in healthcare and poor infrastructure are costing lives. There's more in the following report.
Unfortunately, vaccines for Mpox are in very short supply. They are not readily available. Some countries have these vaccines. So what is being promoted is that countries hold bilateral engagement with those countries that have...
Mpox is spreading fast in Ghana, and the Western region is the hardest hit, with 43 cases recorded. 9 out of the region's 14 districts have recorded infections. Tarkwa Nsrayem tops the list with the highest number of confirmed cases. Chief Pharmacist at the Western Regional Health Directorate, Kwejo Ochre Apentin, says health workers are on high alert. He spoke at the Western Region Development Retreat.
On daily basis, updates are coming from all the districts. And then the case management is also ongoing. And then there's active surveillance. So any case that we see, we identify the contacts. So if I am the positive person, they look at the contacts I have had. So we identify these contacts. So like I said from the beginning, we have 175 suspected cases. I have 246 contacts that have been listed. And then we follow up on these contacts to see whether they will also become positive.
Since the outbreak began, the Ghana Health Service has confirmed 107 cases. Thankfully, there have been no deaths so far. The World Health Organization is also warning of a global Mpox vaccine shortage, a development that could slow Ghana's containment efforts.
Unfortunately, vaccines for Mpox are in very short supply. They are not readily available. Some countries have these vaccines. So what is being promoted is that countries hold bilateral engagement with those countries that have the vaccines, so that they can access some of these vaccines. But globally, The vaccines are in short supply.
Health officials say coordinated action is needed now to protect lives and prevent a crisis.
Well, joining us on the telephone lines is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Samuel Akoria Kaba. Is Ghana actually among the countries that are facing this particular vaccine shortage?
So this is not the DG. I'm Dr.
Dr. Franklin, sorry about that. Yeah. So I'm asking, is Ghana among countries with a short supply of the vaccines?
No, so globally, there's limited access to vaccines. But I think that in addressing mpox outbreak, the main intervention is not vaccine. The main intervention is cutting down the contact. Because, in 2022, we had mpox outbreak. And we recorded 122 cases. We didn't use vaccine. So I think in as much as vaccines are very good intervention, that is not the ultimate to address the challenge. But putting that aside, Ghana as a country, we have engaged, or we are engaging WHO, we're also engaging Africa CDC. And what is happening is that though the vaccine supply is limited, we try to look at certain specific populations that may need these vaccines. And these are health workers, and these are persons which will classify as key populations. And these are persons that will be exposed. So I think we don't need to make it a blanket statement that we need vaccines. And without vaccines, we cannot address the challenge of mpox.
Right. Beyond this, what specific measures is the Ghana Health Service actually taking to curb the rising numbers regards to the mpox outbreak?
Yeah, so I think a few weeks ago, we made a clear projection that, you see, mpox is like, typically, people will say it's chicken pox. So if you look at the history of what is happening in, let's say, Western region, there are a number of persons who have been exposed, who have had this rashes. And at that time, they didn't know it was mpox. So if you look at that projection, and now that we have declared mpox as an outbreak, we're going to have all these people coming out as cases. So what we are looking for as a service is one, is there any delay in reporting? If there's no delay, it means our interventions are working. Two is that you have severe of cases. If the cases are coming and they are not severe, then please our interventions are working. The third one is that everybody dying. Then clearly at this point, we realize we are not doing badly. So if you based on this projection, you expect to more, because now you have more steam from the clinicians, and then they will not kill enough. So that is the projection. And we hope that our message gets down to the Ghanaians, and they will hopefully embrace it.
Right. The Western region appears to be the epicenter of this particular outbreak. Which other regions should be of concern?
Okay, so for now, we will say that this is a national outbreak, though there are three main regions that have high cases. So there's Western North, and Greater Accra. But I don't want us to focus our idea to these three regions. The idea is that because it's a disease of contact spread, you need to avoid contact with people who have rashes. And then if you have the rash, you need to go to health facility, because you cannot easily make a diagnosis of mpox. The only way you go to the hospital, you have been tested. So our key intervention is that people should report when they have a rash. You shouldn't assume it's mpox. And then you also need to avoid direct contact or indirect contact with rashes. Let me say, in typical, people have used the same towel, use the same sponge, and these are very you can get infection spread. So please, where we are, any rash,
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bekwe is the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service.
Well, away from that, the first mini clinic of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is underway at the Achimota Retail Mall. The three-day event is drawing home seekers, real estate players, and vendors offering stylish yet affordable home solutions. JoyNews' Jacqueline Ansmayebwa has been speaking to some exhibitors. Let's listen.
Watching us right now, when they want to come to elegant homes and general constructions, what are they expecting?
So we are giving a 10% discount this fair, and we are giving a free remote control garage. We are giving cornices, plaster boards, UPVC. We have UPVC. We have the 10% discount, as I said. We have the ceiling speakers. We have the fitted wardrobe and the kitchen. So we are encouraging everybody to come around. This year we have even new designs, off-plans designs for clients to also choose from.
These are some of our internal doors which we brought on display. However, we have over 200 doors on display in our showroom on the Sprinters Road. So if you come to our showroom, you have variety, which you'll be able to choose the best one which will fit your entrance.
Okay, well, you just heard that currently right here at the Chimota Mall, this is the only place where you can get, and is there a discount?
Yes, we are giving good discounts right here, and it's only here.
Only here, they won't get that discount anywhere.
That's if you come to our showroom.
This is our 5th year on a row, like 5 consecutive years, and we've had a lot of sales coming through. We've been able to save a lot of homes with our security products. Yes, so far so good. It's been good.
Meanwhile, Senior Relationship Manager at the Multimedia Group Limited, Bright Kovo, has been sharing what to expect at the first mini clinic.
In fact, one of the things that is exciting about this fair this year is that there is financing, consumer financing that EcoBank is offering. And so if you walk in and you have a problem or a need for maybe a television, or you need a appliance or any form of consumables, you just talk to them. They have solutions for you. There is also on display the EV vehicle, which is also in partnership with EcoBank. So you can just come have a conversation with the EV dealership and take your key and your car home. EcoBank will sort the rest for you later on.
Well, still to come, JoyNews Prime Parliament Appointment Committee describes petition against Supreme Court Justice nominee Tewia Akabuafo as frivolous, vexatious, and unmeritorious. Details after the break. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us.
Other stories now. The Appointment Committee of Parliament has described the petition which sought to injunct the vetting of Supreme Court Justice Tewia Akabuafo as frivolous, vexatious, and unmeritorious. This follows investigations into allegations of abuse and misconduct leveled against Justice Akabuafo. There's more in the following report.
The Appointment Committee on Wednesday postponed the vetting of Justice Tewia Akabuafo after receiving a petition from a private citizen alleging judicial misconduct. Chairman of the Appointments Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, outlined 2 main claims in the petition, why the committee found them to be without merit.
The petition was based on a judgment entitled Adolf Servius, Ghana Limited, represented by the petitioner Anthony Kobana Raul as the plaintiff versus Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority as defendant. The petitioner herein versus Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority. The petitioner had appealed against the said judgment of the High Court, presided over by Justice Akabuafo, to the Court of Appeal.
He said after reviewing extra documents from the petitioner, the committee concluded the allegations were baseless.
The committee this morning ruled that the petition is frivolous, vexatious, worthless, unmeritorious, and it is baseless in law and the facts. A complete abuse of the process.
At the vetting, Justice Akabuafo supported calls for an independent police commission to check rising cases of unlawful arrest and police abuse.
My response to that is that clearly will constitute misconduct, and it's part of the reason I propose that there should be an independent police commission so that people who allow themselves to be used in such situations should be properly investigated and where need be punished. It is wrong. We know that you cannot use the police to do something that is civil.
He also responded to questions on whether Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayene's press briefings on ongoing cases amount to public trials or violate the right of accused persons.
I know as a fact, myself and other colleagues involved in matters would warn lawyers, counsel involved in the matter, not to make prejudicial comments when the matter is ongoing. But if the scenario as painted during the investigation stage, the prosecutor is providing information in the public, I do not see how the kind of jurisdiction that the judiciary may have to issue some injunctive orders or some orders against such a person. If they haven't come to us, we do not have jurisdiction to deal with such matters.
With all 7 of President Mahama's Supreme Court nominees vetted, the committee is set to present its final report to the full House for debate and possible approval. James Avage's report.
Well, away from that, Member of Parliament for Mampong, Kweku Amprinchum, says he and a group of MPs will begin campaigning for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's return as the party's 2028 flag bearer. He claims 65 minority legislators are already backing the former vice president, describing him as the leader Ghana needs in these challenging times. Mr. Amprinchum believes Dr. Bawumia has the vision and experience to turn the country around.
Jumping the gun. I, as the representative of the people of Mampong, it is my position and my conviction as their representative that, again, in the circumstances, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia stands tall and taller and tallest of all those who have, as at now, indicated their interest to contest the flag bearership of the party. It is not a question of having consulted your constituents, because once you elect me and I go out there, it is not every decision that I'm going to make that I'm coming to come and consult you. Otherwise, I will be in consultation, 24-hour consultation mode throughout. It is not going to be possible. There are certain matters that you go and discuss with them. There are certain bases why I took the decision I took as the MP of Mampong to support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Meanwhile, Professor Al-Hassan Suleiman Anamzoya of the University of Ghana's Sociology Department says strong support from all 137 NPP MPs and former ministers as well as top officials was still not enough to secure victory for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2024. He argues that Kennedy Agyapong remains the NPP's most viable option to win the 2028 elections.
Today's situation where some MPs of our MPs have gone to show support for the former vice president, it cannot shake us. If the whole government, all the MPs and the ministers and the CEOs supported him and that didn't help, how less a section of 88 MPs? Well, MPs, we all vote the MPs. I mean, I went to vote, so my MPs, it's in parliament. But the question is, so I have an MP. Does he control me? That's the question. How much do MPs control their constituencies? We can't guarantee. And indeed, if you had 137 MPs supporting you the last elections, did they control their constituencies to get you the numbers? So I think you should be worried that, yes, I had it before, more than today, and yet I didn't get there. And now a section of them are saying, yes, it is you again. He should be a bit concerned if I were him. I support Ken because, I'm a lecturer here, a professor of sociology. I always say that if you look at those students, we graduate every year. Last year, Bellevue, every year we churn out many graduates. Where are the jobs for them? No jobs. But you look at those who are contesting to govern this country, and Ken tells you that, and we can also.
Let's now take you to the Upper West region because a week after a rainstorm hit Nandom, victims are still struggling to recover. The storm destroyed homes, schools, and cut power supply to communities leaving many with nothing. So far, they have received no help from the National Disaster Management Organization. JoyNews' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Tuokun, Guo, and Co, all in the Nandom municipality, were hit by a rainstorm. The storm, witnessed by the people, was unprecedented. Roofs were ripped off, dozens of buildings collapsed, grinding mills and container shops completely destroyed. Public schools also incurred the wrath of the rainstorm. Electric power lines to the area down. Electric transformers affected, truncating power supply to the area.
In totality, over 100 houses in my electoral area have been affected. People who have got foodstuff stuff in their rooms were all soaked with water as at yesterday.
Within the community, we have about 8 broken poles, 5 high-tension poles down. Then they stepped down, about 3 of them. So because due to that, light has been off in some section of the community.
At least 135 households, according to initial assessment from the National Disaster Management Organization, Nandom, were displaced. Our Power Minister, Lawyer Charles Wong visited some of the affected communities to see for himself the extent of the destruction.
Rain down, that one, a complete assessment, the report is made, will involve more than the immediate solution. Because of the school, which is a public place, also because of the fact that the damage here is not as huge, we can manage it at our level. But the other places, I believe that I'm aware that a report has been done, we're submitting to Accra, and all those persons affected, we will come to their aid.
Lawyer Charles Wonga further explained that the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council will immediately join hands with the Nandom Municipal Assembly to provide the needed construction materials to re-roof public schools that were affected by the rainstorm.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam, Tuopare.
The National Blood Service is working to dispel misconceptions that discourage people from donating blood. In Ghana, approximately 15,000 children are born with sickle cell disease annually, and many others battle leukemia, conditions that require constant and reliable blood access. This issue was highlighted at the stakeholder meeting themed Strengthening Hematology Skills in Ghana, led by World Child Cancer Ghana. The project aims to improve hematology care and address blood supply challenges, ultimately enhancing patient outcomes. Elsie Kesiedu attended the event and filed this report.
Misinformation poses a significant obstacle to effective blood transfusion in Ghana. Myths and misconceptions about blood donation have discouraged potential donors, resulting in limited blood supplies and delayed treatment for patients with leukemia and sickle cell disease. Speaking to JoyNews, CEO of the National Blood Service, Dr. Shirley Owusu-Ofori, firmly debunked claims that blood collected at blood banks Information poses a significant obstacle to effective blood transfusion in Ghana. Myths and misconceptions about blood donation have discouraged potential donors, resulting in limited blood supplies and delayed treatment for patients with leukemia and sickle cell disease. Speaking to JoyNews, CEO of the National Blood Service, Dr. Shirley Owusu-Ofori, firmly debunked claims that blood collected at blood banks is used for occult activities, emphasizing the need to address these misconceptions to boost blood donation and ensure a steady supply for patients in need.
There's a bit of misinformation and untruths out there about the fact that blood giving to the blood service or to hospitals end up in occultic clans, or the use of it is occultic, and that's, we say without a shred of doubt, that it is unfounded. Every unit of blood that is given to the blood service can be traced. We take advantage of every talk and every opportunity we get engaging with the media to dispel these myths and misconceptions.
World Child Cancer Ghana has launched a nationwide training program in response to concerns about blood transfusion and hematology care. The program equips healthcare workers with technical and psychosocial skills to improve transfusion practices, educate patients, and boost survival rates for those with cancer and sickle cell disease. According to country coordinator Adjoa Penaman Boatin Desu, the initiative addresses critical gaps in hematology care with the ultimate goal of saving lives through safe and effective blood transfusions.
Evidence helps us to know that out of the cases we diagnose, about a third of these cases are leukemia, that is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which normally they require blood and blood products. Aside leukemia, another aspect is sickle cell disease, which forms about 2% of all cases in Ghana, 2% population of Ghana. So, and we also realized that there were issues with blood transfusion reactions, how to manage accessibility of funds, and so many blood disorders. So, with this background, as an organization, we decided to put in an application to strengthen the hematological skills of healthcare professionals in Ghana.
As Ghana strengthens its healthcare systems, dispelling myths about blood donation is becoming as crucial as medical training. Through ongoing public education, health officials aim to restore confidence in blood donation, ultimately improving the nation's blood supply, one donation at a time.